So today we're going to dive into a pretty radical vision from the spiritual leader Chung Hyung. His whole argument is that South Korea has this divine mission to solve humanity's deepest problems. And it starts with one of the most tragic. We're going to break down exactly how he thinks this is possible and what he believes it means for the entire world. Here's how we're going to walk through it. First up, we'll look at his really sharp critique of leaders today. Then, we'll get to the one mission he calls a heavenly command. After that, we'll explore the two kind of unique cultural tools he says will make it all happen. And finally, we'll connect the dots and see how this all builds toward his ultimate goal, a brand new stage of human evolution. You know, every big vision has to start with a problem. And for Chong, the root of the entire mess we're in comes down to a failure of leadership, specifically from the very people who are supposed to be our spiritual and intellectual guides. Yeah, he really doesn't mince words, does he? This is his starting point, this blunt assessment. From his perspective, the people that society looks to for wisdom and guidance, they've dropped the ball, leaving everyone confused and, well, pretty hopeless. So he draws this really clear line in the sand. On one side, you have what he calls fallen leaders. These are the folks lost in abstract ideas, telling people to bow to inanimate objects. He just calls them stones. But on the other side, that's where you find the true leaders we actually need, people who get their hands dirty, who work right alongside the community, and who are actively building a better society. So, who are these true leaders supposed to be? Well, to get his answer, you have to understand this core concept, Chen Song. It literally means heavenly descendants, and it's the term he uses for the Korean people. But for him, this isn't just some poetic phrase, it's basically a job description. It means they are a people born with a very specific historic mission to lead all of humankind. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of his message. If the old leadership has failed, what's the first, most urgent thing that the Cheongsan have to do? According to Changgang, this mission, this order, comes directly from heaven. He puts this question right out there, directly to the nation. With all the problems in the world, what is the absolute number one priority? What is the one thing they have to achieve before anything else? And his answer is just two words, and it's stark and absolute. Suicide zero. And he is so emphatic about this. This is not a policy goal, it's not some social program. He frames it as a heavenly command, a sacred duty that has to be fulfilled before any other progress can even begin. And get this, he lays out a very, very specific timeline. He's calling for the mission to officially kick off in 2025. And the goal? It's audacious, for Korea to achieve zero suicides by the year 2030. But here's the kicker. The vision doesn't stop there. He believes that once Korea cracks this code, it will create a blueprint for the rest of the world to follow, and ultimately, to end suicide on a global scale. Okay, so a goal that huge, you're gonna need some pretty powerful tools, right? And according to Shangang, the Cheonsan, the Korean people, have been given two incredibly unique spiritual instruments to get this done. The first tool is Hangul, the Korean alphabet. But to him, it's so much more than just a set of letters. You have to see it as a kind of spiritual technology, a vessel that holds a heavenly energy with the power to heal people, educate whole societies, and in the end, unite the entire world. He gets really specific about how this power is supposed to work. He claims that because Hangul's sound and script match so perfectly, it creates a special kind of energy. The idea is that just speaking and writing it can release deep emotional pain and frustration. He even sees it as a key for liberating oppressed groups and believes it can literally teach people etiquette and build their moral character. And he actually puts a number on it, a really specific one. He claims that once 70% of the world's population is using Hangul, we'll hit a tipping point for global unification. The thinking here is that a shared language doesn't just help us talk to each other, it actually creates a shared consciousness. All right, so the second tool is Taekwondo. And right away, he wants us to completely rethink what it is. It's not a sport for winning medals. He calls it a mudo, a martial way. It's a spiritual discipline for harmonizing your mind, your body, and your spirit. And crucially, he says its real purpose is to connect people with the power of the natural world, fostering that inner balance you need to lead society. Okay, so let's just take a quick step back. We've got the problem, we've got the mission, and we've got the tools. But what's it all for? What's the end game here? Well, the final piece of his vision is the purpose behind it all, and it's nothing less than a new stage in human evolution.
He lays out humanity's journey in two basic stages. Right now, he says, we're living in the age of Ingon, which is like the animal-like human, just driven by instinct. The whole point of this mission is to help us evolve into Sarim, a spiritually mature, almost godlike person who lives a life guided by a much higher purpose.
So his core belief is that humanity's long, difficult childhood is finally over. We're standing at this incredibly critical turning point. The time has finally come, as he puts it, to bear fruit for all of us together to make that evolutionary leap from Ingen to Saram.
So what you have here is this incredible, radical vision, where a critique of leadership, a massive social mission, and these two cultural tools all come together for one single spiritual purpose. It all boils down to this one central and really provocative question at the heart of his message. Could a single language actually hold the key to saving humanity?